Hello, today in the lesson we will solve problems on directly proportional quantities. And we will solve these problems with the help of proportion. In the previous lessons we talked about direct proportionality and inverse proportionality and wrote down the formulas. In these formulas we always found the coefficient of proportionality. This was the coefficient k. But many problems on direct proportionality or inverse proportionality are solved by making proportions. But in this case, we need to determine what kind of proportionality it is. Today we will analyze the problem on direct proportionality. The condition of the problem is as follows. In 2 hours, the car passes 144 kilometers. How many kilometers will it cover if it travels for 5 hours? The speed at this time is constant. In order to solve this problem, you need to determine the values, and this is very important. This problem is about time and distance. So I will write as time and as distance. Under these quantities, I will write down the given conditions. Let's go back to our condition. In 2 hours, the car traveled 144 kilometers. In 2 hours. Under time, we write 2 hours. Under distance, we write 144 kilometers. Let's write down that we're going to write down time in hours, and the distance in this problem is written in kilometers. We need to find out how many kilometers the car will travel if it is on the road for 5 hours. What distance will it travel? So I'm going to write down the distance, question, 5 hours. I write 5 hours. That now we need to do a proportion. But before we can do a proportion, we need to understand whether these quantities are directly proportional or inversely proportional. In order to figure that out, we need to think about it. The amount of time we have is increasing. If we have a constant speed, then the distance is also increasing. If we are traveling at a constant speed, in 2 hours we will have traveled 144. In 5 hours we will cover a greater distance. That's why I write the time we have is increasing. And our distance is also increasing. If as one quantity increases the other quantity, then it's a direct proportionality. And if it is direct proportionality, we can make a proportion. Proportion is made up as 2 divided by 5 equals 144. And instead of a question, I'll write x. The result is a proportion. And from this proportion, we can find the unknown quantity by applying the basic property of proportion. Let's find this quantity. X equals 5 times 144 and divide by 2. 2 and 144 we will divide by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 144 divided by 2 is 72. 5 times 72, that's 360. 360 kilometers, which will be our answer. When solving problems on direct or inverse proportionality, you need to find out what kind of proportionality it is. If one quantity increases and the second also increases, it is direct. If one quantity decreases and the second quantity also decreases, it is also direct proportionality. Then we can make a proportion. Hours under hours, kilometers under kilometers, and then you'll always get the right answer. At the next lesson, we will solve a similar problem, but in this problem, we will consider the inverse proportionality. Remember, When we have a constant velocity, then time and distance are directly proportional. At the next lesson, we'll find out when the values are inversely proportional. And that's all for today. Goodbye. See you again.